Good evening everyone, here's another Rapid Rambles where we take a look at anything indie, mod, or retro related with some gameplay and or first impressions. Today's Indie Ramble is brought to you by Stove Powered Games. Well, not brought to you, this isn't a sponsor video, but this is a game that's been developed by Stove Powered Games, Anode, Null. It's a card game RPG that even a scrub like myself can pick up and play. It's pretty similar, well, not similar, but it has a lot of aspects from the old Pokemon TCG games, from like the GB and the Game Boy days. Also like the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card games, on the DS, GB, and all that stuff. Quick disclaimer, this ramble is going to be brought to you by somebody who has never played Magic, has only been up to date with like the first and second gen of Pokemon TCG.
Not gonna tag me, get it over with.
Well, I haven't won yet. I need to build up my bench a little.
And like the first and second gen of Yu-Gi-Oh trading card games.
Rather die than lose to my arch rival. Oh my.
And even I was able to pick up this game and play. So that should give you an idea of like the accessibility level of this game, which is pretty fair, to be honest. An adventure game where you start off trying to become like, I guess, the very best, and you have to go around different biomes in order to battle the trainers, and it will be collecting. Each time you beat like an NPC, you would get like a booster pack, and then you build your deck. There's different elements, different monsters, different typings. The gameplay and the gameplay loop of this game is actually pretty well integrated. So first off, you have different types. You have normal types, which is your cast on net, like you don't need any elemental points in order to summon, which I'll get back to that in a bit. But then you have your, which I'm currently on, the forest types. There's fire, there's water, earth, and I'm sure there's more to come, but right now this is just our first impressions. I put a couple hours into this game so far, and I've gotten a good grasp on how the game plays. I'm still pretty noobish, mediocre, but I'm getting there. Yeah, this game even has its own like Team Rocket sort of deal going on.
Prepare for trouble.
Make it double.
So, like I mentioned, you start off in the game, you go into the headquarters of the main hub world, and it gives you your first starter deck, and you beat the tutorial NPC, and it kind of gives you like a quick guideline of how to play. I believe the deck limit may be 56, but like for example, I've heard like Yu-Gi-Oh players and like Pokemon players, like it's better to keep your deck smaller in order to be able to draw the cards that you want. But at the same time, that could be a double-edged sword, because if your specific plan doesn't pan out like you hope, you won't have the extra cards to make like a plan B out of or something. Right now I'm in the forest area where there's also, I don't know if it's like a side mission where you collect the DNA of certain monsters, and this is an actual monster, so you have the trading card games. I think it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh where you have the trading card monsters, but then they come to life, but not within the game. It's just like you'll encounter them, but instead of battling them directly, you challenge them to a duel. It's kind of like that third season of Yu-Gi-Oh where I think it was like the Kyber Corp billionaires, they transformed into the actual duel monsters, and then you had a duel monster. It was kind of reminded me of that.
That's right. When I take your body, I'll be free to live out my fantasy of being a young teenage girl in Japan. But you go on your adventure, you're collecting cards, and the way it's set up is you have your monsters, and then you have your effect cards, and then so you don't have any like face down card, like I guess you could say trap or spell cards from Yu-Gi-Oh, and then there are specific field cards that you can put down. Like for example, there's this forest field card that whenever I think you revive a monster that's the forest type, you get to draw an extra card. So the way it starts is in each turn you get to put down 2 cards at a time, but except during the first turn if you are the first one to. So let's say I put down a monster card, the next person puts down a monster, and then depending on which monster, like some monsters have different requirements to put down. So say they require different energies, so that's kind of like the Pokemon aspect of it, but instead of needing the energies to attack, you need the energy cards, or to build up your energy
to summon certain monsters. So there's different energy types. There's earth, forest, fire, whatever, how many types are of the monster type. But there are some base monsters that that don't need anything to be summoned. Obviously they're the weaker monsters, so you'll summon them, and then some of them have certain effects where, like, if you revive a monster, you get to draw an extra card, or when this monster attacks, you get a free energy of that type of monster. So, and then drawing your cards, I know you get to summon 2 cards at a time, but it's not. So there's the initial phasing where you're summoning, and then there is the evolution phase where you get to, I guess, set up. And there also is I guess you could call them like action cards, where when you're about to summon, when you put a card down, it goes to the side and then it goes down. So when it goes to the side, there's like certain cards that can like increase the battle points or increase the health, or actually do the opposite. Or like there's this one grass trap card that you can activate, that you can trigger upon when your opponent's about to summon a card, and it automatically sends it. So there are applications. So there are monster cards that have different variation types, and from what I can tell, speaking of typing, I don't think there are any type advantages, because I had like a full forest team and I was going against that Team Rocket S Grunt, and he had like a fire team, and I didn't receive any more damage than I would have any other type of monster. Like there was no super effective moves or anything like that. And then so you don't have 4,000 life points or anything like that. You have 3 hit points.
Both opponents are given 3 hard points, and when they run out, the game is... So it's just like Duel Monsters.
So if a monster hits you 3 times, you're pretty much dead. There are certain monsters that are level 2, which you have to sacrifice a certain monster and do the described contribution, like whether it's 3 forest energies, or you have to discard a card from your hand. And there is quite a bit of difference between a strong level 1 monster and then like a base level 2 monster. The effects and all that stuff. Like for example, there's this tree monster that's level 2 that once you summon it, like during the first attack phase, like basically you get like it got to a point where like the opponent had 4 monsters on their side and I only had the tree, and I was able to survive that game because of the effect of that tree monster had. So like any other card game, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, or Pokemon, it's how you play the game. And there's like RNG aspects, like unless you're like Yugi and you have like the heart of the cards type bullshit hacks. So it's a pretty fun game. You go around, you collect booster cards each time you win. As for the overall, sometimes you'll find specific chests that will give you a card laying around like the area. You kind of gives you a reason to explore it a bit more. There is PvP, which I have not tried, and so going back to the whole collecting DNA of that monster after you defeat it, I have not gone back to the lab in order to see what it does, but you're apparently not supposed to go back and give it to the scientist in order, maybe, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get like a pretty strong card out of it, like a legendary or rare card, and then so you just continue on your adventure. It's a pretty solid game. I can see myself continuing to play. It was a little bit frustrating at first because, well, that's just a player skill issue. But yeah, if you are looking for another card game, Anode Heart Lair Null is a pretty good play, especially if you have downtime like during the holidays right now, in order to learn a new card game that's not Pokemon, or Magic, or Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's it for my ramble. Let me know what you guys think down below. What indie you want me to check out next. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. Bye.